board is just too sweet to pass up, ladies and gentlemen. For one card, we have exactly 8,000 damage on the side of the field. We were able to get rid of up to 4 of our opponent's cards on their side of the field, and we still have 4 other cards to play with. It's too strong. Madolche are on a rise again to become the sweetest contender in the meta. But when things get sour, this deck has the utility to OTK your opponent with just 1 card, as well as recur your hand traps to keep on negating your opponent. You would have to be completely mad to sleep on Madolche, and in this deck profile, I'm going to be showing you how Madolche Teacher Glassoufle completely changes the deck post Dark Neostorm. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. Also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. And also a mad shout out to our newest Patreon, Vincent La Hoye. I hope I said your name right. Go ahead and add yourself to that Discord as well as me or any of my admins so we can get you to the top dogs so you can take advantage of all your rewards. And while I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and follow me on Instagram if you want to see where TheCaliEffect gets his strongness from. If you guys ever wanted to know my insane workouts, well, I try to post them on there. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Madolche deck profile for this format. Looking at the stats of this deck, Madolche Teacher Glassoufle propels this deck to Tier 2 status. Not only does it have a first turn play, being able to negate your opponent twice off of 1 card, that same 1 card combo can OTK your opponent. This deck is really good at breaking boards. The only unfortunate side to it is that it's a pretty expensive deck, unfortunately for a lot of Madolche enthusiasts. If you guys sold your cards and trying to get them back, they're pretty expensive. A Madolche Madolche as a prime example is more expensive now than ever before. So maybe wait on to those reprints and hopefully Madolche will drop in price. Starting off with the monsters, we run 3 copies of Madolche Madolche. This card is pivotal for the OTK or almost every single one of your combos. It isn't the only way to make the combo, but it's one of the better ways to make any of your combos because it allows you to have that OTK or that negation combo. And on top of that, it is another Madolche monster to make your tiramisus or your cassouffles with. Next is 3 copies of Madolche Petting Cestor. This card is amazing. By having no monsters in your graveyard, she's a free summon. And more often than not, since the deck is mostly Madolche, you can accomplish that feat. And then it also brings a Madolche monster to your side of the field, reducing its level by 1. Cough, cough, it's going to spell summon Madolche Pudding Cess and make it level 4, so you can make your Madolche Chocolate a la mode with having the princess as material. 3 copies of Madolche Angelique. This card is great, ladies and gentlemen. You can say that it gels the deck together. I gotta stop with the puns. But by tributing this card, you can spell summon a Madolche monster to your side of the field. And what a lot of people don't just read about this card is that monster can't be destroyed by battle. That actually might come up a little bit later in some of your situations. 3 copies of Madolche Messengelato. Yes, 3 copies of Messengelato. Do not run 2, do not run 1. Why? Because if you run 2, then you draw 1, you pretty much can't combo off. And a lot of times you can actually combo off and spell summon all 3 to your side of the field to keep on adding those Madolche spell and trap cards for free. He is probably one of the mainstays inside of the deck. 3 copies of Madolche Hoopcake. This card is another one of the insane cards from the Madolche strategy. By banishing a monster in your graveyard, you can spell summon a Madolche monster from your deck to your side of the field. And also keep in mind that is our beast monster. Madolche Messengelato only activates when you control a beast monster on your side of the field, so Hoopcake is extremely important. Next is 1 copy of Madolche Pudding Cess. She is the princess, and mad shout out to my boy Chaz Banks. Thank you so much, man. Getting us that ultimate rare pudding sets just in time, but she's really good because she required, Madolche Princess Chocolate a la mode requires to have her as material, as well as her effect isn't that bad. After she battles, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it, so that's not too bad, but you're probably not going to be using it for that effect. After the Madolche monsters, we run 4 kaijus. They can really be any 4 kaijus you so choose. I'm going to run Thunder King, Lightning Strike, Dogoran, Gamseel, and Humongous. Now that I'm thinking about it, you guys might want to actually drop out the Thunder King for like a Radiant or something, because giving your Thunder Dragon opponent a Lightning Strike kaiju wouldn't be too good. They can actually use it for their plays if they so choose. Radiant is a little bit more safe, but it's any kaijus you guys want. And all of them, I would prefer for you guys to make them all different names so you can slumber your opponent. Next is only 2 copies of Summoner Monk. I felt that running 5 normal summons in the deck that doesn't really have ways to make multiple normal summons possible is pretty up there. Of course, Summoner Monk and a Madolche spell card equals the exact same OTK combo, so it was very much welcome. Lastly, we run a little bit of the spice, ladies and gentlemen, 2 copies of Herald of Orange Light. After reading this card, I was like, you discarded the fairy to negate the activation of monster effect. That's pretty good. And then you realize Glassoufle can add it right back to your hand, all in the same turn. If you guys don't want to play Herald of Orange Light, I feel like it's really good because if your opponent wants to stop you with a monster effect like Ash Blossom and Joy of Spring, you can actually play through it as well as negate your opponent's monster effects, and on top of that, recur it back to your hand. But Effect Veiler is still a really good card and probably the only other hand trap I will play. The reason why I wouldn't play Ash Blossom or Ghost Ogres is because you can recur those cards back to your hand, but their effects can only be used once per turn. Next, for the spells, we run 3 copies of Madolche Chateau. Not 1, not 2, but 3. This card is insane in 3s. There's a couple of reasons why I run 3. The first one being is that you actually want to discard one of these Madolche spell cards through the effect of Summoner Monk. The next effect is that having this card in multiples actually really comes up for being able to activate the effect of your Chaka a la mode. By activating this card, it shuffles all your Madolche cards, which will trigger her effect to spell summon a monster from your deck to your side of the field. On top of that, it's just another free card to search Ultramesh and Gelato, and once again, it is a target for Summoner Monk. I would not play anything less than 3 of Madolche Chateau inside of this deck because it has so much utility outside of it just being a card to return cards to your hand. It's also one of those cards you kind of want to open up with because it helps with your combo. Next is 2 copies of Madolche Ticket. Risk it for the ticket, ladies and gentlemen. It feels like you can play Pot of Desires in this deck, but I definitely will go against it. Ticket serves the exact same purpose as Chateau. You definitely want to see it in your opening sequences because it can make some pretty insane plays going first or second. And then at the same time, you definitely want a card to discard with Summoner Monk. Again, I wouldn't play anything less. The normal ratio is to play 2 Chateau and 1 Ticket, and I'm not going to knock it, but I'm playing 3-2 for this specific reason. Next, for the rest of the spells, 3 Called by the Grave. That's pretty standard, just to stop your opponent from stopping you. Has really other good applications. Next, I want a board break. So I play 3 copies of Forbidden Chalice. Depending on your meta, you can take out Forbidden Chalice for cards like Twin Twisters, basically anything you want. There hand traps if you guys want to. But in a lot of instances, your opponent has a board that you want to break. They'll be able to make cards like super negation boards or, cards that prevent you from searching. So Forbidden Chalice actually does come up from turning off those monsters effects so you can pop off. But again, Forbidden Chalice can be just about anything. 2 copies of Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. Man, this card is good. It's essentially a dark hole, puts 2 kaiju monsters on the field. It's good against the spell mining burn because now you have 2 monsters on the field, and it allows you to make so many plays. Its graveyard effect searches you a kaiju, and kaijus and our Forbidden Chalices as well as our Infinite Permanences are our outs to our opponent's cards. Lastly, we do play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I feel that the 3 Infinite Impermanence is pretty mandatory, mainly because it is a hand trap, quote unquote, that will go straight to the graveyard and won't be a monster so you can pop off with your Pending Censor. That's the biggest reason why I wanted to run Infinite Impermanence over anything, but I understand if you guys can't afford Infinite Impermanence. Effect Veilers are a little bit compromising because, again, you'll have that monster in your graveyard, but it still is the next best card to Infinite Impermanence. For the side deck, I would definitely run cards like Evenly Match, Fanatical Dragon, Phantasmi, possibly even a couple other hand traps, depending on the situation. Maybe even Set Rotation / Oracle of Zephyr for the burn deck. And then just some other cards. Actually, I just have it on the screen right here. I put a little bit more thought into it while making the video. Hope you guys enjoy. That's it for the main board and the side deck. For the extra deck, we play 3 copies of Madolche Queen Tiramisu. This card's the Board Breaker. By detaching 1 material, you return Madolche cards from your graveyard to your deck, which if you have your Chateau on your field, they go to your hand. To shuffle cards on the field, on your opponent's side of the field to the deck, up to the number of cards you returned. The best thing about Tiramisu is that it does not target its effect. 2 shuffle cards is on resolution on top of that, so you can select cards after you've already made your targets to shuffle or add to your hand, depending on if you have Chateau or not. 3 copies of Madolche Princess Chaka a la mode. This is actually mandatory for the OTK. You're going to be running through this card a lot, and while you can shuffle it back to your side of the deck, or back to your deck, you're going to need at least 2 for the OTK. I played 3 just to make sure. 3 copies of Madolche Teacher Glassoufle. This card is insane. Whoa, I mean, like, looking at the card, you're like, ah, it's okay. Like, it protects monsters, but no, you're not thinking. Just the fact that this combos so well with Chateau, add those cards from your graveyard to your hand, is phenomenal. I completely love this card, and it's just really good. It also allows that 1 card OTK that I was talking about to happen. And then lastly is 3 copies of Madolche Fresh Sistart. That's going to be pretty much it for the extra deck. This card is actually really good. While it's pointing to a monster, your spell and trap cards can't be targeted, which actually lets you set up a board presence if you're going first. And on top of that, she can protect herself. So yeah, she's pretty good. But that's pretty much it for the main board and the extra deck. For the rest of the cards, I only play 9, as you guys can see. You can play whatever you want. Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Phoenix, it does not matter. I don't care. These are the only 9 cards that are really important. But now let me show you guys these combos. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I know you guys are wondering about that 1 card combo. And the only thing it requires is Madolche Mageling. That is it. The other 4 or 5 cards in your hand can be disruptions to prevent your opponent from preventing you from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or break your opponent's board. It does not matter. The only thing you need for this 1 card OTK is Madolche Mageling. You're going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning that Madolche Mageling and then use its effect to add from your deck to your hand Madolche Petting Cesor. Since you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can spell summon Petting Cesor to your side of the field for free, and then trigger Petting Cesor's effect to be able to spell summon Madolche Pudding Cess to your side of the field. Using Madolche Petting Cesor and Pudding Cess, you're going to go ahead and Exceed summon into your new Exceed monster, Madolche Glassoufle. And it's really important that you use Souffle's effect, detaching the Petting Cesor, not the Madolche Pudding Cess, to make your Madolche Mageling unaffected by monster effects. From there on out, you're actually going to make another Exceed summon on top of your Glassoufle, right into your Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode. Use the effect of your Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode to shuffle your Petting Cesor back into your deck, and then trigger the effect of your Chocolate a la Mode second effect. You're going to detach the Glassoufle to special summon from your deck to your side of the field, Madolche Angeli. Really important that you summon Angeli, do not special summon Who Cake. Use the Madolche Angeli tributing itself to special summon the Madolche Who Cake. Now, I can't reiterate how many times how important it is to go into the Angeli and deal the Who Cake. You guys will see in a second. Use the effect of Madolche Who Cake, banishing the Angeli to special summon to your side of the field Madolche Messengelato. Now, Messengelato's effect is going to trigger. You're going to be able to add a Madolche Chateau from your deck to your hand. Activate Madolche Chateau, and now Madolche Chateau's effect will shuffle in your Madolche Teacher Glassoufle. That's actually going to trigger the effect of your Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode. Detach your Madolche Pudding Cess to special summon your second copy of Madolche Messengelato to your side of the field. This is where it becomes really important to play multiple Messengelato, because in this particular sequence we won't summon a third one, but if we actually drew one, we wouldn't be able to make this combo. Lastly, we're going to use Madolche Messengelato to add Madolche Ticket from our deck to our hand, and then we're going to use the Madolche Who Cake and the Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Mode for a link summon. This would actually, that's fine. We're going to make the Madolche Fresh Sistart. Now, here is that tricky part, ladies and gentlemen. Activate that Madolche Ticket and use both the Madolche Messengelatos for an Exceed summon right into your Madolche Queen Tiramisu. Tiramisu, to detach Messengelato, you can target any 2 cards from your graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and add the Who Cake to my hand and the Messengelato back into my deck. That's going to put up to 2 cards on my opponent's side of the field into the deck, but more importantly, it's going to trigger my Madolche Ticket. It's going to allow me to add a Madolche card or monster from my deck to my hand, but since I control a fairy monster, I can special summon it to my side of the field. That monster that I'm going to summon probably is going to be just a Petting Cesor to my side of the field. I can use Madolche Mageling and Petting Cesor for another Exceed summon into my second copy of Madolche Queen Tiramisu. Detaching one material, Madolche Mageling, I'm going to go ahead and add the Pudding Cess into my deck and the Mageling to my hand. We're going to go ahead and from there bounce 2 more cards from our opponent's side of the field into their hand. And look what we have, a wide open board, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we wouldn't have enough damage to win, but until you guys realize you can just stack the Madolche Pudding Cess Chocolate a la Modes on your Madolche, or on your Madolche Queen Tiramisu. This board is just too sweet to pass up, ladies and gentlemen. For 1 card, we have exactly 8,000 damage on the side of the field. We were able to get rid of up to 4 of our opponent's cards on their side of the field, and we still have 4 other cards to play with. It's too strong. Now, the 2-card combo differs just a little bit from the 1-card combo. It's the exact same thing. The only thing you need is Summoner Monk and the Madolche spell card to discard. What we're gonna do is normal summon your Summoner Monk into a far zone that you don't want to start popping off with. So I'm gonna put Summoner Monk into my far left zone. I'm gonna use this effect, discarding Madolche Chateau to special summon to my side of the field Madolche Teacher. Now, Teacher's effect is gonna trigger. Of course, I'm gonna special summon to my side of the field that Madolche Teacher. We're gonna use both the Teacher and the Teacher for an Exceed summon, making our Madolche Chocolate a la mode. And now Madolche Princess, or I'm sorry, not our Chocolate a la mode. We're gonna make our Glassoufle first, and then our Chocolate a la mode. And now Madolche Teacher is going to target the Chateau, shuffling it into the deck. That's gonna trigger her effect. You can detach any monster, not the Teacher, to special summon to your side of the field Madolche Angélie. Angélie is going to tribute herself to special summon Madolche Hoopcake to your side of the field. And now Hoopcake can banish either of these cards. I'm going to go ahead and choose the Madolche Angélie to special summon the Madolche Messengelato. Messengelato's effect triggers to add Madolche Chateau from your deck to your hand. Activate that Chateau, shuffling in the Glassoufle. That's going to trigger your Madolche Teacher Chocolate Auto Mode's effect again, detaching the Teacher to special summon your second copy of Madolche Messengelato. Messengelato's effect is going to activate, and from that, you're actually going to get another copy of Madolche Chateau. Activate the Chateau on top of your Chateau, and then use Chateau's effect to shuffle your Madolche Teacher into your deck. Trigger the effect of your Chocolate a la mode, detaching your Madolche Teacher to special summon your third copy of your Madolche Messengelato to your side of the field. Now, Gelato's effect is going to activate. You can get Madolche Ticket from your deck to your hand, and you can pretty much pop off with the same combo, putting Chocolate a la mode and Madolche Hoopcake for a link summon into Fresh to Start, and now both Messengelatos for an Exceed summon into our Queen Tiramisu. Tiramisu to bounce cards on our opponents, and then trigger the effect of your ticket. We're going to special summon Magdalene this time around, using these two monsters for another Exceed summon into our second copy of Madolche Queen Tiramisu. Tiramisu detaching to bounce more cards. We're gonna add the pudding cess this time. And now we can still make our Exceed summon right into our two Chocolate a la modes, which will equal into the exact game situation. Okay guys, for the next combo, I'm going to show you how you are going to get that free negation off of two cards. The only thing you're going to need is Madolche Magdalene and Herald of Orange Light. Now, obviously, there are quite a few ways to do the exact same thing if you have the Madolche Teacher in your hand, as opposed to Magdalene. Just add another fairy or whatever, and you can actually produce an even bigger board. But in this particular situation, in the last combo sequence, I'm just going to use Magdalene and Herald of Orange Light to give you guys a great opening turn play. What we're going to do is normal summon your Magdalene and use Magdalene's effect to get Teacher. Teacher spell summons herself since you have no monsters in your graveyard, and then you can use its effect to spell summon Madolche Angélie to your side of the field. Angélie tributes itself to special summon Madolche Hoopcake, and Hoopcake banishes the Angélie to special summon Madolche Messengelato. Messengelato activates its effect since you control a beast monster to add Madolche Chateau from your hand, and this right here, right now, is when you activate that Madolche Chateau. Now, you're going to use the Hoopcake and the Magdalene for a link summon into your Madolche Fresh to Start, and then lastly, you're going to follow a Messengelato and your... Ooh, actually, my apologies. You're not going to do that. You're going to use the Teacher and the Hoopcake for a link summon into your Fresh to Start, and they're going to use the Magdalene and the Messengelato for an Exceed summon. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter. Into your Madolche Teacher Glassoufle. Now, your Souffle is going to detach the Madolche Magdalene to make either one of your monsters unaffected, but more importantly, you're going to trigger her effect to return Madolche monsters from your graveyard to the deck. We're going to select Magdalene and Teacher, and since we have Chateau on our field, we can actually add it to our hand instead. That's exactly how you're going to get your Madolche Magdalene to be able to disrupt your opponent, or I'm sorry, your Herald of Orange Light being able to disrupt your opponent with your Madolche Teacher, and your Magdalene can follow up with another combo, provided that you get your Hoopcake out of the graveyard. And even during your opponent's turn, if they were to activate a monster effect, you can actually use the effect of Herald of Orange Light, discarding both of those monsters to destroy it, and then use your Madolche Glass Teacher Souffle to add both of these cards to your deck, or to make one of your monsters unaffected, and add both of these cards to your deck. But since Chateau is on the field, it adds them to your hand. Yes, that's right. Chateau actually adds monsters to your hand, not just Madolche cards. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and if you really did, consider joining our Patreon. We'll even have some test games there. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day. like I am.